Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Hello, my name's Ayo.
Say again?
Ayo.
Ayo. Nice to meet you.
It's a question about suffering. How do you answer a question if someone asks you, if there is a God, why is there so much suffering in the world?
Excellent question. I had a question like that at the university, or at Michigan State University. In fact, I knew before we ever got to the Q&A that there was an atheist in the audience, because he sat for the entire 2-hour presentation like this. And I had some pretty good jokes in there. And he didn't crack a smile once. So I knew that when the Q&A came up, that there was going to be some trouble. So I said, "Are there any questions?" And his hand shot up right away. I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "If there is a good God, why doesn't he stop all the evil in the world?" I said, "Sir, that is an excellent question. Maybe because if he did, he might start with you and me, because we do evil every day." You ever notice that? We're always complaining about somebody else doing evil. Why don't you stop him? Why don't you stop her? We never think of ourselves. If God wanted to stop all the evil in the world, he might start with us. And then I said, "Sir, we could talk about that for semesters in here. We don't have that time. I'd rather show you a 1-minute and 46-second video that will not be a complete answer, but will give you a doorway to an answer." So I'm going to show you the video now, the video I showed him, and then we'll go from there. You guys ready? Yes. Okay, let's make sure I got the right video here. Are you ready? You got to pay attention. There's a lot going on in 1:46. Here we go.
Is God good? If he is, why is there suffering and evil? Let's assume for the moment that God is all-powerful. This means that God can do anything that is logically possible. So he can create galaxies and subatomic particles and rainforests and you. But God cannot do what is logically impossible. He cannot make a square circle or a one-ended stick. So can God make a rock so big that he can't lift it? No. So what if, when God created human beings, he wanted them to be free? Freedom's a good thing, but if humans are to be free, they cannot be forced to obey God, because freedom without choice is like a square circle. It's a logical contradiction. No choice, no freedom. God didn't want robots. He wanted real people. The first humans endowed with the awesome power of free choice abused their freedom. The tragic consequences of their bad choice and our bad choices ripple across the world. God is responsible for the fact of freedom, but humans are responsible for their acts of freedom. But let's remember, we don't suffer alone. God will put an end to suffering and evil. And God became a man to suffer with us. God is good, and he wants real people like you to know him, but the free choice is yours.
Now that answer only opens the door, right? It just talks about free will, because in order to have love, you got to have free will, but free will often also opens up the problem for evil. Now, I made a mistake in answering your question. Here's the mistake I made. Normally, well, there's really two answers to this question. Well, there's a lot of answers, but there's two categories of answers. The question I should have asked you back is, why do you ask the question? Right? Because if you're asking the question from an academic perspective, if God, why evil, this is how you answer it. But if you're asking the question from, you just experienced a personal tragedy, this is not how to answer it. Right? You don't need a philosopher, you need a pastor. Cool. So I actually just made a mistake answering that question. Because, you think, I got a good slide for this. No. Wrong answer, right? Now, hopefully, you're not going through a personal tragedy, so I just didn't insult you.
No, it's fine.
Okay, good. But no, because there's a pastoral answer and a philosophical answer.